Trivia question. What construction project resulted in the city's first municipal debt? Anyone?
The building of the wall.
Let my group answer. Yes, the building of the wall.
Hey Robert, why did they build the wall in the first place?
Very good question. 1653, they built the wall at the start of the First Anglo-Dutch War. There was a Captain Underhill, an enemy of Stuyvesant, who was ordered out of the colony and fled to Rhode Island, an English colony, to gather troops for a possible land invasion of New Amsterdam. Today, Rhode Island remains one of our most feared neighbors, after Connecticut. The irony was that the original wood for the wall was provided by an English colonist. It wasn't the strongest wall, by the way. The 12-foot-high stockade was picked apart over the years by residents for firewood, kind of like this. But as the wall was being vandalized, surveyors laid out the street in 1685. The wall was finally dismantled in 1699. It didn't even last 50 years. The name itself, though, has lasted for several hundred. Speaking of names, Pearl Street has an interesting origin. It was named after all of the giant piles of oyster shells that were here along the shoreline when the Dutch came in the 1600s. These oyster middens are thousands of years old, and they're discovered throughout New York today. In the 1980s, they found some on Liberty Island, and in 1988, they found them under a track of Metro North. And today, if you still look around, they're right here. There's some right still on Pearl Street. Oh, come on, New Yorkers. They've been here for 400 years. At least pick them up. You know, I'm glad these are here. I just read a great book by Mark Kurlansky called The Big Oyster. It's a history of New York, pretty much through oysters, and he dispelled a myth, which makes Pearl Street a misnomer. Pearls don't actually grow in oysters. They come from a pearl oyster in the South Pacific that's more closely related to a mussel.
Oh, excuse me, pearls actually do come from oysters?
No, not the oysters in the Atlantic Ocean. They actually come...
Yes, they do. I know this. I've seen oysters, and I've
I just read a book called The Big
Oyster. I don't really
Oyster.
care what your book says. I'm telling you the truth. These I saw
Okay,
oysters
but
in
maybe
pearls.
the brown undigested
Opened up
bits
one-
and not the
no,
pretty
this
oysters.
was like a big,
the pretty pearls.
A pretty pearl came on a necklace out of an oyster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there. This is what I know. I'm from Maryland. I know these things.
You know what?
I grew up at the beach.
I lived in Maryland actually for 10 years, and I do know that crab tastes incredible in Maryland.
Right. Yeah,
it's very unique.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe oysters in Maryland produce pearls. We can agree on that?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
They don't, though.
Yes, they do. I heard that.
Another bit of trivia is that the oysters, while they don't produce pearls, the oysters found along Wall Street sometimes produce different gold bands with precious stones.
Yes, they do. I heard that.